In the hours and days following the West explosion, this street was ground zero for the hundreds of fire and EMS departments that came to answer the call to help. Later on, they would return home to their own duties, only to get a call from a Baylor professor.
This is Amber Adamson, and I am sitting here at the First Baptist Church of West.
Amber Adamson's curiosity was spurred by a single image that many would overlook as thousands of photos emerged of the devastation.
There was one particular picture I saw a couple days after of one of the, I think it was from College Station, one of the guys standing on the railroad tracks in full honor guard dress, standing there so solemnly with all the destruction around him. And what he was doing was keeping guard over the bodies because they had not been removed from the blast site yet. And I just wanted to know what he was thinking.
Hours of audio recordings would later turn into pages of a book written by Amber, The Last Alarm, First Responders' Stories of the West Explosion.
People from Irving and Dallas and Houston who hadn't really told their full story to anybody until we sat down and talked. And what a privilege it was for me to be the one that they told that story to.
One person on her list was Abbott volunteer firefighter Doreen Strickland.
Her story is just so powerful to hear about just the chance that she and her classmates were in town that night, in West, that night when the fire happened.
One of my cherished memories, and no matter how bad it was, I had my rescue truck full of people. I can't tell you how many wheelchairs hanging off the light bars and stuff. And I had everybody packed on top of each other and a little old man sitting in the front seat, getting him to the triage center, looked up and he says, "Am I in the parade?" And I just smiled and I said, "You sure are." He says, "Am I the Grand Marshal?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Can I wave?" I said, and I unrolled the window. I says, "Wave all you want." And I turned my head and just cried. Because this man, through it all, was looking at a positive side that never knew or realized exactly what happened that night.
There was such chaos going on that night. There were so many people who were involved, and so the book is just a snapshot of a few of those. But then also not just the night of the explosion, but the days that followed.
Now, 5 years later, as part of a research project, she's visiting with some of them again.
A couple people I've talked to have referenced flashbacks.
It looked like a bomb had gone off.
We heard and felt the explosion inside the church here in Italy.
Only 2 citizens died because 12 men stood up. That's the reality.
Honor guard, triage, and search and rescue, regardless of the role they played, the images they saw that week will stay with them forever, and so will the importance of the brotherhood. And Amber's book is available at the Baylor Bookstore and Amazon.com. A portion of the proceeds go to help the Texas Death Task Force. They actually help families of the fallen and of the injured. I hope you'll stay with us at 6 o'clock. I'll be talking to one of the departments that actually lost 2 of their volunteer firefighters that night, coming up at 6 o'clock.